Nice. Hey, Aidan.
Hey, Ari.
We're finally doing this, huh?
Yep.
Oof, it's been a long time coming.
Long time.
All those conversations we had throughout the years, but this is the first one that's been recorded and and with a video as well. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. If only we could get the flies on the wall during our Soka years.
Ooh, that'd be incredible.
You know? Yeah.
What would we talk about back then? Who knows?
Some-
Everything,
Everything.
everything. We had some deep talks throughout the year.
Yeah.
Let's get one today as well.
All
That'd be
right.
cool.
Let's do it.
So, the way I wanna plan this, I wanna tell the story, or you to tell the story of how you became who you are.
Yeah.
Who is Aidan Gross?
Yeah.
So let's start like at the beginning. So tell me like a little bit about where you were born and like where did you grow up?
Yeah. So I born and raised in Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Nevada. Beautiful, sunny Las Vegas, Nevada, the desert. But it was a great place to grow up.
Yeah.
Back then, when I was a child, there was nothing to do in Vegas. You know, there's the residential area, and then there's a strip, and you can't do anything on the strip till you're 21, really.
Yeah.
So there's really nothing to do. But I got into soccer, and I did soccer, and that was my main focus. And the story goes that my dad, he played basketball when he was, young and in high school and all that.
Yeah.
And when I was born, once I started being able to walk, my dad took me to the backyard, and he gave me a basketball. And I kicked it. I started kicking it. He's like, okay, well, we got to put him in soccer. And then I started soccer, and then from there, I just stayed with it forever. And that was my life, man. Soccer
you
was
play
my life.
every day.
Every day. And one of the best things about my childhood was obviously family, number one. But we had a house, but it had a big backyard.
Yeah.
Almost an acre. And we had a soccer field back there and a basketball court and all this stuff. And different like almost a driveway that goes down, and so the driveway going I would have walls, and so I'd after school I'd go back into the backyard.
You'd like dribbling through the driveway.
Dribbling through the
things,
driveway.
Yeah.
And all these imaginary figures in my head that I'm nutmegging and
Yeah.
going around, and then I'd kick it against the wall for hours. But
Like
you know
every
how it
young
goes.
soccer player does.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can be in the zone with the ball for the whole evening.
The whole evening.
Just playing by yourself, with the wall, and
Exactly.
imagining things.
I'm preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
You do the same thing. But in Vegas, there's nothing to do, but I didn't need anything to do other than that because that was my life.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you that because
Yeah.
people, when they think of Vegas, they think, well, now it's a little bit changing. It's a bit more like sports as well. But
Yeah.
when they think of Vegas, they think gambling and partying and the hangover. Like that's
Yeah.
the type of thing. So what is it like actually living in that city and living there as a child?
Yeah.
Like how is that? How did you see that big difference?
Yeah. So, I mean, even when I was growing up there, over my lifetime, Vegas changed so much. So, like you said, back when I was young, it was there. You have the residential area, and Vegas was kind of small. It's not huge.
Yeah.
And it's like a 20-minute drive to the Strip. But back then, when I was a kid, we had Lake Mead, which was a large lake.
Okay.
About 45 minutes from the city, 45, 50 minutes from the city. And it was full back then. But because Vegas is a desert and there's been even more of a drought, and the water that feeds Lake Mead is Colorado River. And so there's been a drought, and so the Colorado River has been drying up, and as a result, Lake Mead has been drying up.
Okay.
And so over my lifetime, it's dried up. And now, recently, the past few years, bodies have been rising to the surface, like bones.
Oh, really?
That the mafia, back in the day, they kill people, threw them in the lake, and now the bones are starting to rise.
Yeah, because the water is right now is like it's
done.
gone. Yeah,
It's gone. So, but
it's
back
drying
then,
up.
Right, exactly. But back then, that was a thing. So we had a boat, and we would go out into
you
Lake
can
Mead
go
and have
on
the
that.
boat.
Okay.
And then my parents got me little go-karts, and we would go to the desert and ride the go-karts. And so that's kind of some of the things you do
Yeah.
as a kid. But the city itself, I mean, you had playhouses, Chuck E. Cheese,
Yeah.
all indoor things, though. Nothing to do
Yeah.
outside. But soccer, and then Lake Mead was like a big thing. So we had to
Okay.
go.
Yeah, because it was way too hot to be out there, especially in the summer with that. It's
Yeah.
desert, So
Yeah. So a quick point about that.
yeah.
So I'll never forget this. I don't know. I'm in high school, some age, 14, 15.
Yeah.
Vegas had the turf fields, and during the summer, it can get up to 120. And we were playing on the turf fields in the summer.
Yeah.
And in the summer, you have to go at like 7, 8 a.m., or you have to go at like 6 p.m. once the sun goes. You can't go in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But I
fair.
guess I was going in when it was maybe 9 or 10, whatever. And we were playing on the turf, and the bottom of my cleats melted a little bit. That's how hot it was. I'll never forget that, bro. It was like a little melted spot, bro. That's how hot the turf was.
Wow. Nah, I would not be able to play during that, like
Yeah.
during those times and those temperatures,
Yeah.
man. That would be, I don't know. it would take away from the fun from the game in a sense.
Yeah.
Like
No, you can't play a game. We were just training, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I went out on my own with a single coach and we were just kicking the ball. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who would you play against? You're Vegas. So you play
Creme de
against
la creme, man. The
like
best
other Vegas players, or
Yeah, no. So Vegas, yeah, mainly other Vegas players. But the thing about Vegas is Vegas actually had a lot of good players. It was not to the level of California or Florida. They were the two big ones.
Yeah.
But Vegas was still pretty good because we had a lot of people come up from Mexico, and we
Yeah.
had a lot of Mexicans there, and so some good soccer players.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Mexico.
for sure, of course.
And so I'm this white kid, you know, and I grew up we're Puerto Rican, you know, but I look white, and I grew up in a nice part of town, right? And so sort of like the American leagues. There's the American leagues, which are all the rich white kids, and they all play, and then there's the Mexican league on the east side of town.
Okay.
And so I played in both.
Yeah, that's how you get good.
Yeah, that's how you get good. And I honestly connected better with the Mexican league, with the kids in the Mexican league. I just got along with them more because my family had money, but we were very humble.
Yeah.
Because my parents came from humble beginnings. And so, anyways, you had Mexican League, American League, and then sometimes Vegas would host a huge tournament where teams from around the country, I don't think around the world, but around the country would come. So
Yeah. So like most of your childhood was spent on that, like obviously like the little kids, you know, games.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
But you focused a lot on soccer and football, so that's why brought you until you were 18 pretty much. Like, well,
right. And that's why I'm focused so much on it, because honestly, like my childhood was soccer. I mean, it was everything, man. It was in my backyard, soccer all the time after school. Throughout my life, club, all the tournaments on the weekends. Those were the best weekends where you have the soccer tournaments.
Yes.
And that was my whole life, man. That really
and
was.
it got you to play college soccer at 18. So you went to SoCa, but like, what was that decision that you made that led you to that school?
Man, so I don't know if you heard this story, but it's a crazy story.
Yeah.
But long story short is start off to say that I was never as good as you. You were really, really good soccer player, very talented, very gifted. But I was good though.
Yeah, you were.
And I was definitely good enough D2. But I was shooting for D1s, right? So going into my junior year, I think it was the best I've ever played. It was my junior year. It was my peak. And I went to go try out for some D1s. And it was an Irvine school, but I can't remember. But one of the D1s in Irvine, whatever. So I go there for a soccer camp. The last 2 minutes of the camp, I tear my ACL. And so after that, I'm done, bro.
Yeah.
The guy's like, you're going to be out for 10 months. And then after that whole summer, the rest of the summer, I had planned all my D1 tryouts and D2 tryouts and all that. And so...
Because in America, like that's the year that you get recruited, like junior year to senior year. If you start in senior year, you're already kind of late.
Correct. Yeah. That was my window.
Yeah.
That was it, bro. I had the 2 months I had to prove it. It was gone.
Yeah.
Because, you can get recruited your sophomore year, but you have to be insane, bro.
Yeah.
You have to be like another level, which I was not.
Yeah.
So that was my window. It didn't happen. But I remember I was sitting in the doctor's office, and the doctor came in and told us, like, hey, it's a torn ACL. You're going to be out for a year.
Yeah.
My mom started crying, but honestly, bro, in that moment, I didn't really have a deep relationship with God at that point.
Yeah.
But I knew that it was God's plan, man. I just felt that in my heart. I was like,
wow.
It's just not meant to happen. And so after that, I had an offer from Cedarville University in Ohio. They were D2, SoCa. But I said, you know what? No, I think I'm going to go to University of Utah. They have a new business program, so I applied there.
Yeah. I remember that. You told me that, yeah.
And then this is when the story gets juicy. So I'm already applied to University of Utah. I put in the money for the housing, right? And so I put in my application money, all that. And then this is my senior year spring break. Okay?
Yeah.
This is March of my senior year. And I'm in Newport Beach with some friends for spring break. And I get a call from Kano at SoCa University. He goes, hey, Aidan, I'm just calling because I just wanted to see if you're still interested in SoCa. We'd love to fly you out here and just show you the campus. What are the odds?
Yeah, wow. And you were right there, 15 minutes, 20 minutes away.
Man. I've not talked to this guy in months.
Yeah.
And so I go to my parents who I'm like, I don't want to go there. I already got applied to Utah. Like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was sad. You know what my parents say? They say, Aidan, you have to be a man. It's time to be a man. So you're going to go up there and you're going to tell him to his face, thank you so much for this offer. I really appreciate it, but I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So go see it and tell him to his face. And I said, okay. So I go and I drive. I'll never forget that drive, man. I was in my first car, my Tahoe.
Yeah.
And I'm driving on the beautiful California roads through Laguna Niguel. Beautiful.
We used to love those drives. Those drives up to the beach.
Yeah. From
Soka to the beach. Oof.
Yeah, those were the best. Yeah. They were really the best. We had so many good times. So I'm driving through those beautiful streets through the hills, and when I drive into the campus, it's so gorgeous, man. And I just felt this feeling like, wow, like you're at home.
Yeah.
And so I go and I go park. I park in that parking lot by the gym.
Yeah.
I walk in. Kano greets me with Ryan Schmucker, and then we go in. And
he brought out Ryan to recruit you.
Yeah, what up, Ryan? Shout out Ryan. But yeah, so he brought out Ryan to recruit me, and I forget who else. There was someone else that came, but they showed me the cafe and all that. And I went and I sat with Kano, and basically on the spot we negotiated a deal, and I signed for Soka.
Because Kano is good at doing those things. Yeah. I remember mine as well when I was there, and he was showing me the campus, and he's a good seller at that.
He is a good seller.
He sold the school. I was like, wow, this is incredible. I want to come here.
Yeah. And did you think you were going to go there at that time? Or
I don't know. I was actually on the drive back with my dad, because we drove all the way from Sacramento down to go do the tour. And then on the way back, my dad was asking me, of course, like, hey, so what do you think? And I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't want to give it that much thought right there and then. I wanted to think about it over a week.
Right.
But then my dad started saying all the good things about it, and I said, yeah, well, I guess it is. And then and it is an incredible school.
Yeah, an incredible school. Absolutely.
Wow. What were some of your favorite times, like moments at Soka?
So favorite moments at Soka. There's so many things at Soka, but honestly, man, okay, so favorite moments. Well, okay, so one of the best moments is the first moment.
Yeah.
So I moved in first. So Yari and I roomed together, which the whole way that happened was crazy.
Yeah.
And a blessing that we were able to room together.
I was in the Netherlands, and I got that text from you. I said, hey, I'm Aidan. I'm like, you said, oh, Kave reached out to you.
Yes.
Kave gave me your number.
So shout out to Coach Kave.
Shout out to Coach Kave. He's a legend.
Great man.
It's honestly because of Kave that I got to Soka in the first place.
Yes.
He recruited me.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, he recruited me.
Yeah.
So we're here because of Coach Kave. In all seriousness, he played a huge role. So thank you, Coach. We love you. But so
I got that text from you that saying, oh, hey, Kave told me to reach out to you. Thinking about rooming together or something like this, and then we had a FaceTime call.
Yeah,
we had a FaceTime call, went great, and that was during the summer, so that was leading up. But I think that's it. We didn't talk much
No.
until we actually met, which was cool day.
It was a cool day. So I moved in first. I was already moved in, and then you came in later that day, that same day, I think. And so I hear a knock on the door, and I go to open the door, and then you're at the door taking a video of me.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you're wearing your Betty shirt.
Yeah.
Never forget. I'm like, hey, when you go nuts. And
hey, how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm Yari.
Yeah. It was just great. We were like two kids.
Yeah.
It was like
first day moving into college.
Yeah, it was. It was like the most exciting thing, man. We were both so excited. And then, so you come in, and then we kind of get settled in, and you go, hey, man, I got a present for you. And this just, it goes to show you how far I've come. But you want to say it?
Yeah, I just said to you, I said, hey, because I had been in Netherlands for the summer. I was in Europe, and then I said, hey, I brought some cookies over from the Netherlands for you. Yeah. We can eat the cookies together.
Yeah, and I go, Yari, there's one thing you got to know about me. I don't eat sweets.
Yeah.
Just straight up shot you down, bro.
I didn't think much of it. I just said, oh, more cookies for me.
Yeah. Which I love that spirit about you. It's you're not easily offended, which is a great thing. But yeah. So that's a moment we can look back on that is just so funny. But that day, that night we went and hung out with the soccer team, and you and I just had so much fun.
Yeah, we just talked the whole night.
Yeah. And honestly, favorite memories, bro, are just doing fun, goofy things, man.
Yeah.
It just brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah. Like scaring Julian. And running around doing stupid things, just having fun, man. Yeah. I remember all of the guidance that you brought me during that time. Because before that, I had worked out, and I've done some, but I never was serious about my diet. Yeah. And you came in as a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And I remember you wrote me a plan for what I should eat.
Yeah.
Because you did not eat sweets.
Yeah.
But I came in, I was eating all the stuff. I don't care, cookies, all the other. And then, you wrote me that workout plan, but also like what I should eat. And then I started eating healthy like you.
Yeah.
and started eating 8 eggs a day in the morning.
Yeah.
You ate, how many eggs did you eat every day?
Oh man,
10 eggs.
Probably 10 eggs, and the room you could smell in
2
the room.
2 pounds of chicken.
Yeah, 2 pounds of chicken, and you could smell in the room between us two.
Yeah.
Oh man, between 18 eggs between the two of us, that our room stank at night, man. Oh lord.
Deep conversations and stench laying around.
Oh.
I would open the window at least.
Yeah, crack a window.
Yeah.
But and you know, when we talk sometimes with the window cracked, we would just hear like, "Oh!" outside. Yeah. It's probably because. I'm just kidding, but yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
I still remember you were such an example for me as well. Like we bounced like on each other as well, like a lot. But you were such an example for me for how you took your studies serious as well, and I took a lot of that from you. I still remember like on the bus rides, like back from a soccer game, like you'd be studying, doing your studies, and I said, "Wow, man, that's dedication right there. I need that dedication in my life as well."
Well, you had it. You had it for soccer.
Yeah.
But I was able to inspire you with the more academic.
Yeah.
Which is great, man. Thank you. And your joy brought me your joy. It overflowed out of you, and it spilled into my life. It spilled into me, and it brought me a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Just your look on life, and yeah.
Yeah, we roomed together for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
COVID cut that last half year short.
Cut that last half year short.
But yeah. And then you went off. Then you weren't living. So you went from Vegas to Cali.
Yeah.
And then you were not in the West Coast anymore.
Yeah. So Vegas to Cali for obviously college.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit, it's our senior year, and we went out for spring break. So I flew from, well. Okay, so it's kind of crazy, but during my junior year at SoCa, my parents moved to Florida.
Yeah.
So then comes senior year at SoCa, spring break. I'm going back to Florida to visit my parents, and we get the news of COVID kind of starting to percolate through the country, and I knew I'm probably not coming back to this campus. Yeah. And so when I left Florida for spring break, I just took like as much as I could. And then went to Florida, and then, they closed up. So I never went back to Cali. I stayed in Florida.
Did you take all your stuff?
So I took all of it. There was a couple of things I had in the storage, but my cousin who lives in California went and got it for me.
Oh, okay.
So I never went back to SoCa.
I took your mattress, by the way.
Oh, that's where it is?
Yeah.
Give me that mattress back. I'm
kidding. I thought you knew about the mattress.
I know. Of course I did.
But so then you moved to Florida, but through all that time at SoCa and then going into Florida, you were going through a transformation.
Yeah. So
you were a different man coming in and coming out, and then throughout like law school, let's say.
Yeah. Well, it's God, man.
Yeah.
But SoCa, I've shared this with you, and I'll share it with anybody. It's my testimony, but SoCa was very difficult for me. But even before that, life was difficult for me. When I was a kid, I was always very outgoing. Okay, I was the class clown. I was very outgoing. Mm-hmm. And I was always very full of joy. But I had some pride issues, big pride issues. I always thought I was right. I never thought I was wrong. I would never admit that I was wrong. And I was a perfectionist. And so when other kids on the soccer field wouldn't do good, I'd yell at them.
Yeah.
I was kind of a bully. And when I was about 14, I got bad acne out of nowhere, man. It just hit me. Like super, super, super bad acne. I'm talking craters on my face. And you've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
All over, man. And that does a lot to, especially a teenager.
Yeah, that does a lot to a teenager.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, it's acne. But no, I mean, it's a big deal, man. When you're a teenager, you're going through hormonal transformations. Or you're becoming a man. And so in that time, there's a lot of different, you're subject to peer pressure, right? You want to be cool, and you want, you're a kid, you're a teenager, right? Yeah. So when you get acne on your face, it's extremely embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I was scared to show my face, man.
Yeah.
I was, and I remember, it was my freshman year because I was at Bishop Gorman, and this kid, we were talking or whatever, and I don't know, we were talking about him. We were by the lockers, and he said something, and then he slapped me. He slapped me here. And it wasn't like malicious. It was just kind of like, I guess, a joke. And he slapped me, and it popped a couple of my pimples, and I was bleeding.
Oh wow!
And I was so embarrassed, bro. And so it was very difficult. And acne lasted with me all the way into SoCa.
Yeah.
And it would kind of come and go, but then when it came back, It wouldn't be nearly as bad as it was the first 4 years or so, but just kind of, I don't want to say trauma because everyone uses that word, but there was a lot of psychological effects of having acne for 4 years going into college. So then when it would come back in college, it would kind of trigger that. Right? Yeah. And so really went through that. And I went through with acne for 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. And I thought it was never going to go away, man. I remember my sophomore year running, and I thought this is never going to go. I'm going to live with this for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And kind of the big moment was, so I was raised Christian. I mean, okay, so my parents were raised in Puerto Rico, so they were raised Catholic, right? They believed in God, but they put me in Christian school, but we didn't go to church. We didn't talk about God, you know? So yeah, we believed in God, but like I wasn't going to church, really having a relationship with God. But my parents planted the seed. Yeah. So when I went to SoCa, and I was going through all these acne things and the difficulties there, my freshman year, I started to kind of find God for myself. And then I'll never forget my sophomore year. This is my sophomore year. Yes, my sophomore year. We're on an away trip for soccer. Mm-hmm. And I remember we're on an away trip. We're in the hotel. And I go take a shower.
Which game? So I know exactly when.
I think it was Embry-Riddle. I think it was Arizona. I think we're in Arizona.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure we were in Arizona.
I remember that. Yeah.
Which we played another team from Arizona. Benedictine. So maybe it could have been them. But okay. Yeah. And I go into the shower, and then I come out, and I close the door so it gets super misty and foggy in there. And I got out the shower, and then I go up to the mirror, and I kind of go like this to the mirror, and I just see all the red dots all over my face. Yeah. And at that point, bro, I've been dealing with it for 6 years. Yeah. And I just remember, bro, in that moment, I dropped to my knees on the floor. And I was just done, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if I've told you this, but...
No.
Oh, I haven't told you this?
No.
Yeah, I was just done, man.
Not about that moment.
Yeah. And for a split second there, bro, I thought about taking my life. For a split second. It quickly went away, but that's how low I was. And how helpless I was. Yeah. And I remember in that moment, I've been kind of starting to listen to podcasts and read the Bible and all that. And there was a Pastor Rick Warren, who said, stop asking God why and start asking him, what do you want me to learn? So in that moment on the floor, I said, God, what do you want me to learn? And he said, humility. I'll never forget that moment, man. That moment changed my life.
Wow.
Humility came to the front of my head like that and hit my heart. And I
takes a lot to share that, yeah.
Yeah. I realized that I had been trying to control my whole life, right? I got acne and I did everything. I did everything I could to try to fix acne. I went to specialists. I took all the medications. I did everything. I was at the point where I was only eating chicken and rice, which is why I ate 10 eggs.
Chicken, rice, and eggs?
Yeah, that's why I didn't eat sweets. It was because of my acne. Yeah. Of course, I wanted to eat sweets, but I didn't because of that. Yeah. And I got to the point, man, where I was so trying to control everything that I would bleach my sheets like every other day, bro. And so when I was on that back before, he said humility, and what that means to me is I'm not God. He is. Mm-hmm. And I kept trying to control things and not give it to him and ask him for help and recognize he can help me. So in that moment I did. For the first time I was on my knees. I couldn't control things, and I gave it to him. And I think that was a turning point in my life, man. And then over the next year, junior year, I kind of went out for study abroad. And then just over the next year and a half, my acne just went away.
I saw that progress within you. Your confidence just going like this, up.
Yeah,
up.
And it wasn't like an instant thing like, okay, I get out the bathroom, my acne's healed, and praise God, no. But it was just over time.
Over time, yeah.
Yeah, and now I never get acne. It's incredible. But yeah, that was a turning point, man.
That was I saw that transformation, like I was saying, like within you.
Yeah.
Like I saw you, like, and I wouldn't say that I could see that you were hurting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you shared all of this with me as well, so like I knew, but like that person coming out and that person coming in was so different.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah, it was great.
But a lot of hours with God, falling to my knees, right? But he moved, man. He moved. He healed me.
Yeah.
He, in that moment, he gave me hope.
Yeah.
And he lifted me up. And he's been there ever since, bro. So.
Yeah. I know this is like a very passionate topic for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I had to bring that up as well.
Of course, man. I mean, look, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
All our pains, someone's going through it.
Yeah.
Someone right now, and maybe someone who's going to end up listening to this podcast has acne.
Yeah.
Right? And so this is my story is not meant to be hidden. I want to share it to help people.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm an open book, man. Ask any question you want.
This is Aidan Gross. This is what led to who you are today.
Correct.
This is your journey, your story.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's good. This is good. Nice. But then you created this relationship with God.
Yeah.
And then you took that with you as you came to Florida.
Yeah. So, well, I'm writing a book, and the book is honestly, it's all my lessons. The book really, it's called The Journey to New Life.
Oh, you never told me the name of the book.
Oh, yeah. So it's called The Journey to New. It's called Hope. Our Hope. The Journey to New Life.
Okay.
I'm still kind of working on the first part, but I know the second part, Journey to New Life, for sure. But basically, it's about how I went from the Aidan going into Soka to the Aidan standing here today.
Okay.
So really, it's about that. And so chapter one.
This wasn't meant to be, but this is a sponsor for your book.
Yeah.
Everybody go read his book.
Yeah, exactly. but no, the funny thing is it's a story on that. And so the first chapter is called The Moment of Humility.
Okay.
And that's when I fell to my knees on the floor.
Yeah.
Right. And so anyways, but just a sneak peek.
Yeah.
But so yeah, when I went to Florida, I took God with me. But the thing is when I went to Florida, I was still kind of in the mindset of partying and doing all that stuff, drinking and doing all that stuff. And I was walking with God, and I believed in God, and I would spend time reading the Bible and praying and doing all that. But when life got really good, I'd kind of go away from God, kind of ignore him a little bit. But then when life got hard because of the stupid decisions I made, then pain came. Then I'd go back to him, and he'd be right there waiting for me. He was always there all along.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the process. So I came to Florida, and I had a relationship with God, but I wasn't anywhere near to where I am right now. But I was still walking. He still loved me and all that. And then moved to Florida, and then ended up going to law school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in law school it was a complete 180 from Soka. Soka, I wasn't really like the star, I guess to say. You were the soccer star, but I wasn't the soccer star, and I didn't really fit into the culture there.
Yeah.
Great school, great people, but I didn't fit into the culture. So I was a little bit of an outcast. A little bit, I felt like it, So when I went to law school, everything changed. In law school, I became the big guy.
Yeah.
And not because of my own, because of the gifts God has given me. They shined there. And I'm very grateful for that time. But I kind of became like one of the big dogs there, arguing in front of the Supreme Court.
You were the baller on the Moot team.
Yeah, on the Moot team. And so blessings 100%, just such a blessing that all that was, all those experiences. But it was a lot different. And
you blossomed.
Yeah, I blossomed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I blossomed. And it was a great moment, man. So like your first year of law school, it's just you're in the books.
Yeah.
And then your second year, you start trying out for like the practical teams, right? So like the trial team where you can go and you argue like you're in trial, like a fake trial, right?
Okay.
And the moot team is when you're arguing before appellate judges, so you're arguing in a court in front of judges.
Yeah.
Not in front of a jury. So you start trying out for those.
In front of real judges.
Yeah. So it's a fake case in front of real judges. So I started trying out for those teams, and I finished top 4 for both. So as a result, I got to argue before the Florida Supreme Court my second year of law school. And it's one of the hugest event on the law school campus every year is when the Florida Supreme Court comes and we argue.
Yeah.
And so I argued before them. And in that moment, I got into a relationship. I'm thriving. I got a job. Like everything is going. I got my own home. Gigging. So my life is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when you did the moot court, arguing in front of the Supreme Court. You were so proud. I was so proud.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
It was a great moment. But there's gonna be a lot more of that now, for real, like in the real world now as well.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see God's plan, man.
Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, it was a blossoming.
Yeah. And then, like, you were in Florida, like in Gainesville for your law school, and then but you lived all over Florida now as well, like Orlando, now Miami.
Yeah. Sarasota.
Like all over Florida. Yeah. You're a Florida man.
I'm a Florida man. Well, I guess I have to live in like the real country part. Well, I guess Gainesville is kind of country. Gainesville is country.
Yeah. That's the swamp. They call it the swamp, right?
The swamp.
Yeah. There's nothing left. Oh, like all their small towns, but like from the big city, Jacksonville maybe.
Jacksonville. Yeah. But I mean,
where's the state capital? Or
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Yeah, so that's all the way up north to the left. Yeah, I've been there. It's
okay. Right. You can check it out as well.
Yeah.
So then you moved to Miami for your new job out of law school.
Yeah.
Big boy job.
Yeah, big boy job.
Big boy job as a lawyer.
Yeah, so that was a whole thing, because my second year. So basically, when you go into law school, you get first. Okay, it's the books. And then the summer of your first. So your first year, and then you have the summer, right? Going into your second year. That summer, going to your second year, is when you start sending your applications for jobs. Yeah. And the job you secure then is the job you end up getting. And so I did that. I got a job in Orlando. Did that job the next summer, and didn't like it. I love the firm, great people, but I wanted to be in Miami. Yeah. Didn't like Orlando. And so I started applying for firms my third year, which is very unusual. And you very rarely get jobs. But the Lord opened a door and brought me down here. So now I'm here.
So now that you're here, what are what are some of your dreams going into the future? Like what are some things that you want to do, or things that are in your mind other than writing the book?
Right.
What's in Aidan's head?
Man, honestly, we'll see what happens. I mean, this the podcast is gonna be published, right? But I don't know if I'll be a lawyer forever. But
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you never
know where we're gonna take you, right?
Right. But I definitely know God has called me to build His church around the world. Okay. And so I could still be a lawyer and do that, or that could be full time. I don't know, but I know He's called me to do that, and so I don't know if that'll happen a year from now. I don't know if that'll happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
You can do it through your book as well.
Right.
Get it translated into every language.
Yeah. So who knows His plans, but I know that's what He's called me to. He's given me a general vision, but He hasn't told me every step. Okay. Because He won't usually tell you every step. It's just a general vision.
Well, it takes time anyways. Right now, you're focused on what you're doing right now.
Right. So
what is that saying? Like you plan and God laughs?
Yeah, right. Man plans, God laughs. Yeah,
that's the one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know for sure. So, yeah, man. Honestly, writing and speaking, I think are my gifts.
Oh, you do that very He's given me. That, yeah.
Thank you. And those are the gifts He gave me. So those are the gifts He's going to use. Yeah. And so, yeah, ultimately that.
Well, we'll see what the future holds. But so far, the journey of Aidan is an incredible journey.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to be part of it and to have been there from 18, but not before that. But from that and forever. Yeah. Like moving on to the future, man. So great to hear your story and see who Aidan Gross is.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a journey, man, and it's just getting started.
Yeah.
Honestly. I've learned so much over these past 7 years. These 7 years have been the making, man. They've been the training ground. Yeah. Honestly. And He's gonna do big things, bro. In my life, in other people's lives, in this generation, it's gonna be big, bro. It's gonna be really big. So a lot to look forward. It's just getting started, bro.
To many more years of health.
Years. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you for being on The World Is Groot.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. All right.
Well, that was only 34 minutes.